format. As you know by now, we'll have a 34 regular season game schedule. Most teams will kick off in the third week in March. That's earlier than we have in the past. We're going to try to avoid kicking off right in the midst of the NCAA basketball championship. We're kind of learning that might not be a bad idea to avoid some of our competition. We will have a standalone first kick game prior to the opening weekend. And we're trying to figure out when and where that will be. We're not going to announce that yet. We should be able to finalize those plans soon. We will have a balanced schedule, and that's something that we spent a lot of time thinking about. But for this year, we'll have a balanced schedule. I don't know that we'll be able to have one when we have 19 teams, and I certainly don't know that we'll be able to have one when we have 20 teams without really expanding the number of games that we play. But in 2011, we'll have a balanced schedule. We spend a lot of time, as many of you know, those that I've met with over the last couple of days, meeting with our technical committee and our competition committee. Last couple of weeks, including hours of discussion at our board meeting about our playoff format and our actual qualification for the playoffs. And what it is that we're still evaluating is a plan that will do a couple of things. First, we will have 10 teams that will qualify for the playoffs next year. With the addition of those two clubs, Portland and Vancouver, instead of the 8 we have today, we're going to open that up to 10. The final teams 5 and 6 will play a knockout game or a qualifying game to determine who will occupy that 4th spot. So in essence, we're going to have teams. Got this right?
Teams 4 and 5 would play to see who determines who wins.
There you go.
Conference. 4 and 5.
We're going to have conferences, and the knockout game will occur in the conferences. What we haven't finalized yet is whether or not we're going to have a single game knockout, or whether we're going to have, like we've had this year, that conference game, the game leading up to the conference championship being a home and away series. So we're still evaluating that. We've not been able to finalize that decision. The options are pretty simple. We either go one and done all the way through, or we would retain this home and away series. We don't know whether that will be in the semi-round or whether that will be in the first round. We're still going through that evaluation. We'll finalize all of this within the next 30 days. Now that the league is very stable, we're really focusing on what we can do on the field and spending a lot of our time and resources in what we'll call this second era for us to ensure that we could begin fulfilling this vision of trying to be one of the top soccer leagues in the world. Now, we've got a ways to go before we can compete toe-to-toe with the English Premier League or the Bundesliga or La Liga, but I have no doubt with the resources that we have and the passion of the fans that exist throughout North America that we should be able to achieve those goals. Now, a couple of things that we have to do to get on board, if you will, and one of those is going to be to really seriously begin investigating aligning our league with the international calendar. So coming out of our board meeting this week, we are going to make a serious effort to investigate the steps that we would need to take to determine whether or not we can change our calendar. And I've been in this job now for 10 years. I don't know that 2 years ago I ever would have thought that, certainly not 10 years ago. But we've got to take the steps to figure it out. So we'll do a lot of research internally. We're going to take some time to look at those people outside of the league that can help us with some of this research. Today will be a pretty good test. This game, if we were to change our calendar, would be a regular season game in Toronto. And today it's our championship. So we're going through that analysis. We're spending a lot of time working with our clubs to see what impact it would have on them. How would we create a schedule when we have so many northern cities? It really is going to be a lot of work, but we're making the commitment. I think that's going to be big news around the world, particularly as we go out to Zurich and try to bring the World Cup back to the United States. We're basically saying to the world, we're going to do the work to figure out what we need to do, how long it will take to ultimately have the right facts together to change the international calendar. I'm not saying we're doing it, I'm saying we're going to do the work to figure out if we can, and we're making a commitment to do that work.